Hello everyone, my name is Tom, and I am going to be starting a new YouTube series on some basic education regarding Dark Souls. I have a new mic, new headset, some of the audio may be a little off, but regardless, we're going to dive into this with a couple of, we're going to start it off with a smaller video regarding a pyromancer character that I made. I'm going to adjust some audio settings here. Okay, turn that down. Okay, we're going to start off with a pyromancer character that I've recently beaten the game with, and I've been toying around with some scaling regarding intelligence and faith and the weapons that are related to them. I have some limitations. Obviously, you can only get so many Titanite slabs in the game. For your information, Titanite slabs are what are needed to fully upgrade your weapon. Again, for those of you that are more advanced in Dark Souls, and a lot of this information is not going to be new to you. But right now, I did acquire what are called the Witch's Locks, and this weapon is a whip. Not exactly the most popular of weapons in the PvP community. The reason that I'm taking this weapon is because of these stats right here. My character is a pyromancer. And what you get, for those of you, this is just a little education for those of you who may not have had the time to dive into the wiki or done as much research as I've done. And I'm by no means an expert, but I'm still testing myself. These B scalings mean that your weapon will get a damage boost based on the stats that you allocate in faith, which is this icon, and intelligence, which is this icon, and then less so in dexterity, which is this icon. And then no scaling whatsoever related to strength. The minimum stat requirements to wield this weapon effectively are down here. You can still use the whip without these stats, or any weapon for that matter, but you do receive a penalty for not having those stats, and you do significantly less damage, or you can't do the weapon's special ability or special attack or whatever you want to call it. And in this case, that special ability is called Flame Whip, and I thoroughly enjoy utilizing Flame Whip in combat because it can catch players off guard, but we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. With regard to my character, he is currently level 93, probably going to push this guy all the way to level 120. It seems to be a good meta level. Going to leave his vitality at 1,000 so that when you're embered you get that 1,300. That's really good. But as you can see, because my stats right now, I've got 35 in faith and intellect. Excuse me, intelligence and faith. And again, it's all back to that weapon. It boosts my whip's damage all the way up to 450. Now, without that, without the intelligence and faith, you can see that the base damage of the weapon is listed right here is 134 and 140. These numbers here are the inclusion of my scaling, of my B scaling in intelligence and B scaling in faith. So when you add all these numbers together, it just adds up to a specific amount of damage. I have another character that's a strength-based character using the Fume Knight Ultra Greatsword. Same concept, just a different stat allocation. You'd be looking at strength, and then you get the stat distribution bonus there. The reason why I am enjoying myself on this character more so than the other characters that I've played is due to the dexterity bonus, or the dexterity sort of build, so to speak, affords you to use the Carthus Milk Ring. This is a great ring to obscure your rolling. Everybody kind of uses this. It's very similar to why people in Dark Souls 1 were using the Dark Wood Grain Ring. I don't even remember what it was called, but that one would let you like do a backflip. It was friggin' sweet, super fun to do in PvP. The main reason though that I like the Flame Whip is due to its moveset. I thoroughly believe that right now a lot of folks are going this route. This weapon right here, just the longsword, is a very reliable weapon. It's got a fast R1 attack, For you R1 spammers out there that love to just, you panic and you start slashing away at your enemy. That's all well and good. What you'll recognize pretty quickly, though, when you start going outside of Pontiff Sylvain on his balcony there and start PvPing for yourself, you'll realize that that's pretty hard countered by anybody with even a modicum of skill with any type of shield that has parry. Because when you R1 spam, you become very predictable very easily. The weapon art for this weapon is nice, but what you see happening more often than not is that folks don't tend to actually rely on the weapon art from the longsword. From when I've PvP'd against them, anybody using a straight sword or a longsword of any kind tends to just fall right back into that R1 spam, and they become just really easy to kill. When you're creating a PvP character, from what I've felt and seen, it just becomes so much better to implement a hybridized strategy. Now, that's a lot of like buzzwords, but what I mean by that is that it becomes better for you as a player to have a wider spread of skills and be able to execute those skills without really thinking about it, so you can catch your opponent off guard. Like for me, back in Dark Souls 2, there was a lot of like really good ways to combo and backstep and get in with a quick attack. But Dark Souls 3 is just so much better at being able to change up what you're trying to accomplish. So you'll see some pyromancers get in with a Sacred Flame. This ability is great for just getting in, grabbing somebody. It catches people off guard because they're used to seeing this. Chaos Flame Orb, throwing that magic in higher levels of play, especially pyromancies with their speed, with the speed of their animation, the travel speed of their the fireball. Higher level players are rarely going to get hit by that. You might get a lucky hit once in a while, and if you have the stats like I do, it's really going to hit them hard, and they're not going to be expecting it. But I honestly, since I've started PvPing on this character, I've never managed to actually catch someone with that. I'm going to actually head to Pontiff Sylvain right now. Where are we? Or Sullivan, whatever his name is. I've never actually managed to catch even a mediocre player with the Chaos Fireball, and I've been having some issues with understanding the best means of catching somebody with Sacred Flame. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make, and the argument in the case that I have for weapons like the Witch's Locks, is it's a great weapon for the way that it scales. On top of that, its moveset has something that none of the other weapons have. The weapons you'll tend to see in PvP, the ones that I've experienced a lot, are going to be this bad boy right here. I've seen way too often. The Dragon Slayer Sword Spear. It's very reliable. It's a great weapon to use in PvP, especially for its weapon art, Falling Bolt. Cast a lightning strike down. It's really fast. Pretty hard to time your dodge because you're watching your opponent and he caresses his blade and then bam, there's a lightning bolt in your face. But it's slow, and when you're using a high dexterity, high dex build, low equip load, fast rolling, all that kind of stuff, it becomes pretty easy to dodge its basic attacks unless it's in the hands of a really skilled player, and you are going to encounter that. This game's been great about providing a lot of variety, but you do tend to see some pretty regular contenders. You see your longsword R1 spammers. You see your Goddard twin swords pretty often. Another one that I've seen a lot of, katanas all day long. Like, I am so sick of katanas. I was really excited to use a katana on one character, and lately I've just been encountering them so much that you're seeing these charged katana spammers that will take their katana and they just do the running R1 because it's a nice reach thrust to get out there and just jab it right into somebody. It's harder to dodge. It's pretty quick. It becomes pretty frustrating playing against that all the time. And yes, it's successful, but I don't know. There's something about the skill that's needed for katanas. Yes, it requires skill to use effectively, but everybody's doing it, and it's just I don't know. To me, I guess I'm the hipster of Dark Souls 3 players because I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I want to find something that can catch a person off guard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out here and I'm probably going to get my ass whooped. There's no doubt about it. I'm very new to the Witch's Locks. Actually, why don't I finish talking about why I like it? The main reason why I like the whip for its skill set as a whole is specifically because of its delayed attack timing. So when you're following through with an attack, your character is doing one thing, but your weapon is actually doing a separate thing, much like a whip in real life. You need to have an action with your arm in order for the whip to then follow through. And its R1 is fine. It's not great. You can catch somebody at the end of a roll really well. It's got some really good range. What I'm a bigger fan of is this weapon's weapon art, which is this. It's that super delayed tail end hit. I don't know exactly, it's probably 3 or 4 hits in total, and I rarely catch anyone with all 3 hits. But what I will tell you is there have been so many times that I have caught an enemy at that tail end, and it's taken off so much of their damn health that it's just become something that just shocks the opponent. You can tell right away that once they've gotten caught by that, they enter panic mode. They'll start to dodge roll all over the place. They're like, what the hell just hit me? And so I'm guessing it's only a matter of time before you start seeing folks who better understand, oh, this asshole's doing witch's locks. I know what I need to not do, basically. But for right now, it's a blast. I'm having so much fun just being able to get in there, try to throw some great Chaos Fire orbs, try to get some Sacred Flames off on the opponent, and then not succeeding because I'm not very good, and then just being like, fine, I'm gonna attack him with some R1s, get him to start trying to bait me, and then I flip it up and change it up to the weapon art, and boom, I've caught this guy, taken off half of his health, or maybe not half, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but put him on his back foot for sure. And then before you know it, I'm able to catch him with a great Chaos Fire Orb because he's not paying attention anymore. So yeah, those are the kinds of weapons that I kind of want to talk about on my channel, and I'm hoping to keep pretty regular at this. I am a dad and I have a full-time job, so finding the time to do that becomes pretty difficult for me, but we'll see how it goes. So I got nerves too, so I'm pretty bad at chilling out. But I'll try to just relax and get this off and see how we go here. So I'm going in. Let's see what we're going up against here. I don't use buffs. I mean, you can't buff the witch's locks, but typically I tend to not bother with that. All right, so we got a little mini fight club or something going on down here. Somebody to hop down in here with me. Hey. So like I said, this guy can clearly see what I'm trying to do. He can see my Pyromancer's Flame, and then I'm gonna bait him out a little, just get him to think that I'm trying to do this. Ooh, he rolled at the right time there, so his timing's pretty good. See if we can get him into a Sacred Flame. Nope. Timing is horrible. Ah. That tail end! Like, you saw how much of his health it took off there. That guy's a lot better than me. You could see how he observed my initial weapon art with the whip, which is how you'd want to counter this weapon, and then roll for that tail end of the flame whip, because that's the one that's really going to bite and take a huge chunk of your health off. So that guy was good. This may seem cheesy, but you're going after the people who don't really have that knowledge and understanding. So why don't I summon myself and see if I can maybe make it work that way. I'm probably getting my ass kicked, but that's fine. Like I said, I'm not very good. There's probably a lot of folks out there that are better at this game than me, especially in PvP, and I'm still learning, still trying to get good, but we'll see if maybe I can make it happen. I also need to get better about switching my shield and parrying, especially on weapons that are a little faster, where R1s are more successful. Which is not going to be this guy. This guy's coming in with, what is that? Hi. Here's my whip. I don't even know what weapon that is. Alright. Oh, he's going for the halberd. Okay, that's fine. Oh, my rolls. Oh my god. That's bad. Yeah, he's got it too. Oh, what the fuck was that? Alright, well. I don't know what the etiquette is with regard to drinking Ashen Estus in the battlefield. Hopefully that's cool. Bingo! That was just lucky cheese right there. I don't know if I honestly don't know if I like that Sacred Flame. That, to be totally honest, that's the first time I've fully successfully landed one of those, and that just whooped some ass right there, didn't it? So anyways, you can kind of get the impression of what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. Again, there's going to be a million of you out there that are far superior at it than I am, but Witch's Locks, man, it's a decent weapon, and I hope to see a lot more folks using creative weapons and builds like this in the future instead of doing what that guy did, which is switch to what's a quote-unquote reliable straight sword and go for those attacks. So thanks for watching, and hopefully catch you guys in the next one soon.